What's happening, my people? Welcome to Vertical Football Podcast and welcome to the Arsenal Corner. Let me just repeat again. Welcome to the Champions Corner. The champions of England is Arsenal, and this corner is to talk about everything Arsenal transfer, and everything that comes around in Arsenal. Maybe any update, I got you covered. I'm your main person, Komi, and today we don't have so much to talk about really, but we just want to do a bit of player profiling. Arsenal have been linked with many players, but out of these many players, we have a player that looks like maybe he can bring in something new to Arsenal that is not there before, and the player is Julian Alvarez. Julian Alvarez, amazing player. I've seen so much of his clip while in England, and I even took my time to watch clips, full matches in La Liga game and even Champions League to see who Julian Alvarez is on the pitch, and also check some things outside to see who is outside the pitch. And this is my tactical breakdown profile of Julian Alvarez. And this, I'm going to do it in 4 major sections. It will be, the first one will be the technical and tactical abilities. And there we are going to list some things, and I'm going to be rating each section over 10. It may be abilities over 10. And also we are going to go to physicals, how physical he is, agility, and many other things. I'm also going to be rating that also. And also how we go to psychology or mental abilities. Take, for example, everything in that angle is check it. In what I've seen on the pitch and a little bit out of pitch that he has done. And also socials, which is just what we are just seeing all around. And that will be the 4 pillar I'm going to use to profile Julian Alvarez. But before we dive into the profile itself, I just want to just say a quick one about Julian Alvarez. This guy used both feet, use both the right and the left feet, and also his stronger feet is the right. He has a strong feet of the right feet is very strong, and also he's 26 years old, and he just entered his prime, and we have seen his performance in England. Then, even though it was not a regular, but we see something regular. But Champions League and La Liga, we can see few things he have done. Now that we know a bit of his age and his strength and his feet, let's dive into the technical and tactical abilities. The first thing I'm going to talk about in technical and tactical ability is the versatility. And the first thing I notice is that the ability for Julian Alvarez to play in any position in the final third is your guy when it comes to playing from any role, any position in the final third. And his versatility makes him unique player for Arsenal, because Arsenal need that type of an hybrid type of player, a player that can play every role. Put him there and he's there. In terms of versatility, I'm going to just give him rate him 8 over 10 really, because he has what it takes to enter the team. He can play from the right, left, middle, striking role, and you can see him sometimes in half spaces. And it shows that this guy there's a reason, there's sense in Arsenal bidding for him. So he has this ability. So that's versatility. Now the second thing is vision and passes. Now, when we are talking about vision and passes, I mixed both vision and passes together, because you have to have the right mentality, the right vision in terms of where you want the player to be, the movement of the player. And in terms of vision, he reads the match beautifully. He knows when to pass it short. He knows when to pass it long. And he has done so much in diagonal passes, switching play. I love the fact that he's a type of player that can come deep, help the team. Against Madrid, the first goal, he started the chance creation. He went deep and did a diagonal switch to one of the player, and then what's his name? the player gave the ball to Lookman, and Lookman, that was against Madrid, and Lookman scored. He started that. These passes was amazing. That diagonal passes was is amazing. I believe that this will be a good weapon for Arsenal next season. Very sure if they sign this guy. And the short passes is amazing. He used short passes to link up with players, passes short, and that division and decision making in terms of passes really put him up there among the elites in terms of passes. In terms of passes, I'm going to give him, there's still more things to be done, but I'm still going to give him maybe 8.5 in rating in terms of passing in this ability. Now, let's now go to dribbling. See, I know that people don't go this deep in terms of rating players step by step, but I feel that I and you can just sit down, look at his, not short clips now, look at his game, his past matches, and see how he dribble. I believe that number one is when he dribbles, he has this balance. He has this balance to how he dribble, and he's a type of player that have a very good ball control when he is dribbling. So the balance and the ball control help him to make smart dribbling decisions. Sometimes you will think he want to cut in and just do something. Next time, you just show him that turning and just give a pass. So his ability in dribbling, and even in tight spaces, is really, really amazing. I love that fact. I know there's a lot of work to be done because I see him dribbling more in La Liga than that of when he was in the Premier League. Maybe at that time he has not gone to this level, and we all know that La Liga pace is quite a bit slower than the Premiership. But in terms of dribbling, from what I've seen, from the glimpse I saw in the Premier League and the glimpse I saw and what I've seen in La Liga, I think his dribbling is amazing. He dribble with control, and after dribbling, the way he carries the ball shows a player that knows what he is doing. And in terms of that dribbling, I'm going to give him 7 over 10 in terms of rating. His dribbling is top notch. There's a bit of work to be done in terms of the dribbling when it comes to fast-paced team, and that about dribbling. Now, the next thing I'm going to talk about is his pressing. Number one, I want you guys to understand this guy is not a press monster. We need to know that very well. He's not a press monster, but he press intelligently. Now, when he starts the press, he press intelligently. In Man City, if you're a player that have played in Pep Guardiola team, you have to press the spaces. If you're a player that is playing in Atletico Madrid team that they deal with low block, mid block, so many times, you have to sometimes press his pace and also press the player, and he does that. I remember a match against Arsenal. They went on a low block, but he knows press trigger, and that is quite intelligent. You cannot play on that. These two managers, and you will not be tactically intelligent in terms of the ball, pressing to get the ball. And one beautiful thing about him is that he knows press triggers, he knows player orientation, he reads games. And the moment there's that same Madrid match, I remember in that same Madrid match, that is it Tchouaméni, I don't know, one of them maybe, or was about to lose the ball. He did a very, very counter press quickly. He see press triggers and quickly hit on that. Yes, he's not get the ball, but at least it shows how intelligent he is. He knows what it is, what is press trigger, the ability to spark counter pressing. He's good at it. Yes, he's not a press monster like all these strikers that just run the get press. No, but he knows how to cover space, press the space. There's one that he and Lookman did, that Madrid want to play from the back, and when he pressed the keeper played to the Madrid defender, one of the Madrid defender. So what he did was to press the middle, the space of the option where the Madrid player have to play to the midfielder, but he pressed that place. The player has to pass back to the keeper. He is quite intelligent in terms of doing that, and that's one thing I give to him as a credit, because I feel that This guy, when he was trying to, his transfer went to, all the transfer was done to Atletico Madrid. I thought, oh, this is the end of his career, that this guy can't give us anything more because you just want to go and destroy your career. But coming out to come out shining in that system is amazing. And I love that part about him. His pressing, he's not a press monster. So I give him 6.5. It's not a press monster. I will do that. Quickly, let me just quickly go to the next thing. Positioning. Wow. Now, I'm going to put this thing in two parts in terms of positioning. Now, there's positioning inside the 18 yard and positioning outside the 18 yard. And positioning outside the 18 yard will be basically how he positions himself to have a link-up play to the next player, how he set up himself to switch play. And that positioning, I will give it top notch. That is amazing. He is a type of player that you want in your team. You always want to be involved in the ball, help the team while building up. And I think Arsenal really need a player like that, a player that can come deep, help in the midfield, and also help in the starting of Sanchez creation, and also ending up scoring. Is amazing in that sense outside the box. And inside the box is not as bad as everybody thought it is. But compared to what Arsenal have in their forward line as a striker, I believe that he has a better positioning than Gyökeres. So it is an upgrade even in the 18 than Gyökeres. His positioning is good, and I love the fact that he knows when to be in the right place at the right time, and he knows when to be at the edge of the ball to get the ball and shoot in. So this positioning, I'm going to give him, for positioning, I'm going to give him 8.5. 8.5 over 10 because his positioning, I really love the way he positions himself, most especially outside the box 18. And when he goes to the box 18, he gets you the love tapping, and that is amazing. Now, the next I'm going to talk about as a striker is turning. It's turning, and this is anywhere on the pitch. And I do tell people a lot of time that any player can turn anywhere if there's no pressure. Any player can just turn if there's no pressure. But under pressure, I've seen him turn. I'm telling you guys, I know these are little details that people don't really put into check. A lot of people don't put into check in terms of profiling players. The turning is top notch. I love the fact that he can do the half turn, and also he can also do the type of turning that Pep Guardiola like, in terms of you don't just turn and just start playing. He can do the half turn. He can even do the curve turning, which is one of the turning that a lot of Alamasa, the Barcelona people, really love. The type of turning that makes the heads go crazy. He has that amazing turning. Yes, does he? And in La Liga, because I did not take note of his turning in the Premier League, and that's my bad. But in La Liga, after watching full matches upon full matches of this guy, I realized that his turning is amazing. But I believe that the type of turning he does can adapt in any league, because he's the type of player that have this awareness and player movements, and that is still a preps in his vision. He knows player movement, he knows where opponents are, what opponents are doing, and that is a plot for me. For his turning, I'm going to give him an 8. An 8 for turning is superb. Inside an 8, I'm going to give it that. Now let's go to free kick, and shooting. I'm jumping beyond my time. Shooting. I think the eye test say it all. I'm going to just put this into two boxes, and that two box will be shooting from inside the box and outside the box. That's the first part, and shooting from dead ball situation. Now let's talk about shooting outside the box and inside the box. Inside the box, his shooting ability is amazing, and we can see that in any small chances he gets, his shooting range is beautiful. And most especially the outside shooting range is good. I love the fact that Arsenal need a player like this. a player that can actually shoot from outside. In terms when you're having a situation of low block team and team are sitting deep too much, and you have tried everything, and one player out of the blue come out and give you that coiling, amazing shooting. It win matches. So this guy, in terms of shooting, is one of the best thing I like about him. Outside shots is amazing. Getting to the edge of boy 18 or even the end of boy 18 and give you a lovely shot is amazing. But the second one is the dead ball situation. I think right now, Arsenal does not have a player in the attack that is this good in free kick, direct free kick to be precise now. And this will be a plus. His free kick technique is amazing. I've seen a lot of free kick is scored in La Liga, and this is not the keepers are not good. The keeper are not this. No, this guy has that good technique in terms of free kick, and to be a wonderful thing in that. So in this shooting department, I'm going to give him a 9. I'm going to give you a 9. His shooting accuracy is top notch. I don't want to use tactics. I just want us to use the eye test first and the range. You see that the shooting ability is superb. Now let's go to the next thing on the list. And as a striker is what you need to do better. Finishing. I guess this is a part that he can get better. Really. I'm not saying that he doesn't have finishing, but in terms of what Arsenal have already, Gyökeres is a bit and have an edge in terms of finishing. His finishing is not in the range of Gyökeres. I know when you look at stats, SG and everything, it's quite different. But when you look at the way Gyökeres have developed over time in adapting to the Premier League, I think his shooting, his finishing is showing us a glimpse of who he is at Atletico, at Sporting CP, showing us what he is. So I believe he's a good finisher, but not having the edge that Gyökeres have. So in terms of finishing, it's good. But when you look at his SG and everything, due to the shots, due to the goal, even his goal scoring, from outside shots, you will look at it even statistically and say, oh, this guy is better than Gyökeres in terms of scoring goals and everything. But this guy, finishing is not in the level of Gyökeres. But in terms of finishing, I'm going to give him maybe a 6.5. He's above average, he's decent, his finishing is decent, and I see that his finishing is quite decent in terms of that. But when you look at statistically, when you look at the SG, the scoring, goal scoring attempt and everything, you will notice that he has far edge because of the fact that he can shoot from outside. And yeah, but for me now, my opinion, Gyökeres is a better finisher than him in the 18. Let me put it that way. I think that should be the right fit. In the 18, Gyökeres is a better finisher. But maybe outside the chain is a better finisher due to the fact that he has good technique of shots and everything. But in the 18, as now was after as a player that is good in the 18 to score good and quality goals. So I think it's not bad for 6.5 rating. All right, let's look at other play. Wow. PSG Arsenal played on the final, and I and my colleague was saying, as he was saying it categorically, that Arsenal need a traditional number 9, a point man to hold up play when the boys send directly, hold up play and link up and create a bit of in that place, and we give Arsenal more chance for dead ball situation and everything. And Gyökeres came about in as much as hold up play for Gyökeres has not been good, but towards the later part of the season, last season, he was getting better in terms of hold up play, and he was ruffling defender, and we can see that against the same team that this guy played for, Atletico Madrid, and I was ruffling their defenders and everything. But He couldn't replicate it in PSG match, maybe because the defenders are more physical than him, something like that. But if we said Gyökeres is improving and we are bringing the Alvarez in that department, is not your traditional hold up play person. So maybe you want to go direct, you want to change tactically and everything. It's not your man for hold up play. His hold up play is I've not. I only see it's the way he do his hold up play itself. It's like they play ball in and he position himself in the right position where he can run against the defenders. Another play to link up with it. I think he did that against Arsenal, Atletico Madrid, Arsenal. He did that other play and put it in, but I don't think he has that traditional other play. Rest your back against the defender, and you know, he doesn't have that. So in that angle, I'm going to give him a 4. A 4, a 4, 4/10. That is poor. Even a 4 is a good thing. Hopefully, maybe because I don't see him improve. I know players can improve, but that's not his strength. His other play is next to nothing to me. Gyökeres, we said he's trying, developing, and it's even better than Julian Alvarez in this type of situation. No. So that's it. So I'm just going to say this in terms of everything that we have said on that technicality. I think one of his weakness on that technicality is hold up play. Hold up play, he cannot do that. So lastly, let's look at link up play. Now, link up play is amazing at link up play. Link up play is superb in terms of linking up play. Come deep, link the wingers or the attacker, or help in the midfield, link up, start a progression or start transition of the game. This guy is your man. Link it up and everything. This guy is your man in terms of that. And in terms of link up play, I'm going to give him a 7.5 because this guy is your man in terms of that. But that is it for technical ability. So let's talk about Julian Alvarez, physical department, physical ability. And when you are talking about, you have to understand the player's physical ability for you to know if he's going to be in that level in terms of physicality in any league or in any team, now especially in Arsenal. Let's talk about number one, agility. Now, this guy have good agility, and we can notice this in terms of how he changed direction to lose defender. His agility is quite top notch, is in the elite level or in agility, ability to control, to even change in a slip direction is actually not bad, really. But I'm going to give his agility 7/10 rating. Now, quickly, let's go to the balance. Now, in terms of balance, I'm going to look at physical strength in and out of position, and physical 10 in and out of position, and also technical physical abilities in and out of position. Now, let's talk about physical strength in and out in terms of balance. You see, his type of physical strength, let me just give you an example of the type of physical strength he has. If you can remember vividly, there was one boy he was carrying, Atletico Madrid versus Arsenal. I think maybe the second leg or the first leg. I can't remember vividly. But I remember that he carried a ball that Gabriel was chasing him, and Gabriel bumping on him, and he had that retaining ability to still hold on to the ball while you face a player like Gabriel. And I'm telling you that for you to even get to that level that Gabriel eats you and you still have the stamina to stand, it shows that in possession, on the ball, this guy is in the elite level in terms of that. And also in terms of technical strength in marking and running out of possession. Now, this guy is also top notch. Now, I told you from the beginning that this guy is not a press monster. He press pace. So he knows when to trigger press. In terms of when you look at him when he play in Argentina, you will see that there was one match, Argentina versus Argentina versus France. I think is it the World Cup? I can't remember where a player was holding on the ball and he was the one that quickly pressed that player that leads to Argentina quick transition, and that guy is up there in terms of physicality and balance. And also, let's talk about balance in terms of control in and out of possession. Now, physical balance in control. And that is one thing I like about him. He doesn't just he's not aggressive in terms of what people are expecting, but he's not a player that just jump on the floor or lie on the floor like a piece of paper. Is the type of players that do the best that he can in terms of that. So in terms of balance, I will say is up there also in the highlights level. Let me give him a seven rating, a 7/10 rating on that. Now let's go to speed and acceleration. Now, as a striker, there's one element I do tell people. You have to have the technical ability to how will I put this? Technical ability to beat offside trap. You have to have the speed to beat offside track. So in terms of speed, let's look at the speed in terms of beating offside traps. I love the fact that even though you have the technical ability to beat offside track, but in terms of the way he does it, the acceleration is not like he see the game and instantly you see a shift where he moved backwards, and that is amazing. And a player like Alan also had that type of intuition. So even though Anna is a more traditional player in terms of that, but he has this now I would just going to put that speed in terms of thinking ability, in the way he thinks or see the game, or in the way he sees movement, the speed in terms of he calculate the opponent's player and technically beat an offside trap is also amazing. And his speed to carry the ball, we can see that he is not the type of player that will give you the old Theo Walcott speed of a team or the old Martinelli speed. But in terms of a striker, he's in a very decent speed, better than Gyökeres in terms of speed. And I think that is very, very bad. And speed in marking, when he lost the ball and cover for his team, you can see that. Assuming I have the time, I will have given you a special video to show how he accelerates in terms of move on the ball, chase after players. This guy is amazing in terms of that. So in this speed, I'm going to give him a 6.5 due to the fact that he's not in the range of other players that like Theo Walcott and co in terms of speed on the ball and off the ball. But I give him 6.5 because of the speed mentally, the way he thinks, movement of the game, and ability to beat offside trap. I really like that about him. Now let's look at the last thing. I purposely did not put this in the technical and tactical ability, because I put it in the physical ability because to him I think it's more of a physical thing really. His area drill is very poor. That's one of his weakness in terms of his physicality. I've seen him jump, but his technique on how he knows and everything, I mean, you really see him do a nod or this thing. Maybe a nod to clear out the ball. I see some clips in Atletico Madrid when a corner was sent in. I think it was that same Atletico Madrid, Real Madrid. The corner was set in, he nod out, something like that. But apart from that, I've not seen him use too much of header goals and everything. And that can be, I've seen in Man City, maybe one or two, maybe 1 to 3 header goals or 2 header goals in Man City at that time, but I did not see him that is not his strength at all. I don't see him that he has that strength in nodding, bullying player to nod the game, to score in header and everything. And even when he has the chance, sometimes it goes wide or he did not get connected. So I'm going to give him, in terms of area drill, I put the physicality because maybe that is not how that he has not built himself physically to do that area duel. So I'm going to give him a 3.5 in the area duels way poor. So he has agility, which is one thing that he have in abundance. He has the balance. There are many things I can put here because of the video. I want to make the video very short. He have the speed. The speed is amazing. And also he has area deal. Now, his area deal is very poor. Now, the last thing I'm going to talk about is coordination. Now, coordination is one thing that I'm going to put it this way. Coordination in terms of, I've said it multiple times in this video, the way he sees movements, and how do you do that? He do that in composure, is composed in terms of when you want to make decision, in terms of on the play, coordinating the team. He do it with composure. Even when you want to do movement, he do it with composure. He is calm. Also, he has this bit of calmness in his coordination, in the way he coordinates himself on the ball and off the ball. And finally, he has control on off the ball, on and off the ball. Calmness, composure, and control on and off the ball is amazing. And that is what I put on that, the way he coordinates himself. And in terms of coordination, I'm going to give him a 7.5 rating for that. He coordinates himself well. He has a composure of how to control the game, how to wait till the team come together. I saw a lot of that in Atletico Madrid, and he did that with composure, calmness, control, and sometimes you see him do the gesture of pointing, put it here, put it there, something like that, and that is one of the good strengths he has in that level. So in physical, I think the only thing he doesn't have is the area though, and I see that eventually. Now let's look at psychological. This is the third part of this profile, and with all this I've said, the rating is basically me giving rating in terms of what I see. You can do your rating in the comment section. So let's look at resilience. How resilient he is, his work ethics, is the way he do things. I'm going to put it in terms of, number one, his resilience, adaptation to leagues. Now, he came from Argentina to Manchester City. Obviously, when he's on the pitch, you can see him do what he loves doing best, give Man City another angle to the game. And adaptation to league is amazing. I thought going to Atletico Madrid will not be another headache for him, because I felt he's not a perfect fit for that type of system, because I felt that seeing him in the Pep Guardiola system, he can do more good. But going to Atletico Madrid and I see him doing these, putting 2 or 3 things together, I was like, wow, this guy is a top-notch quality. So his adaptation is amazing under resilience. Adaptation to role on the pitch also. When you look at adaptation, the adaptation to adapt to roles on the pitch. Now, roles is not about positioning now. Oh, I'm a striker, this in. There are some times in Atletico Madrid whereby he will be the only one on the front and a true ball will be sent to him, ability to hold. We can see that in Champions League match against Arsenal. They did not, it's not a good game for them, but you can see the glimpse of who Julian Alvarez is in that match. And he adapts tactically. He adapts to rules on the pitch. Sometimes you see him coming deep and doing it exceptionally. Sometimes you see him in the midfield carrying the ball. The adaptation to different type of rules, even without the manager saying this. I know managers have instructions. The adaptation to rule is top notch in terms of resilience. Now let's look at adaptation to tactics, and that is one strength that every manager wants to see in a player. Adaptation to tactics. You're coming from River Plate that play the different flow of football in terms of now going to Man City where they play a possession based football, and now you're moving down to Atletico Madrid, where they play a mid block, low block, compact. We hit on the counter sometimes. We do one or two, three ATK passes and we hit. For him, tactically, this guy adapts, and that is great resilience. I'm telling you, it is great resilience. It's amazing. So, and also, let's talk about his work ethics, because in terms of resilience, so his work ethics, never say he's a workaholic. And I think Arsenal have that in Gyökeres too. Hardworking players. This guy is actually hardworking. He knows when to burn energy. He knows when to relax and scan the environment. So the his work rate is up there in the elite level. And the last thing I want to talk about in this resilience is physical durability. Now, physical durability is ability for a player to be physically fit in almost all the matches in the league. And this guy, his injury record is applaudable. His injury record is applaudable. And I think that will be a perfect fit for that. For his resilience, I'm going to give him a rating of 8 in terms of resilience. I'm just providing this prayer in a way that even a lay person can actually get it. I'm going to give him a 8. Now let's look at emotional control. Emotions. Now this is pure psychological. I do not know what is happening out of the pitch, but I've seen him showing he can manage his emotion in terms of he had balls and in terms of when opposition are trying to pick on him in matches and everything. I see that he's someone that's emotionally stable on the pitch. I don't know off the pitch, but on the pitch, I've seen a glimpse of this guy have the ability to be calm, do his job, talk to his team, relate with the team, and get these things done. And I love that. In terms of emotional control, I'm going to give him a 7. It's something that in this time, when we come to Premier League, maybe I'll be checking on that emotional control really often. Now let's look at bravery. Bravery is one place that I'm going to rate him very high. Why? Because it takes bravery to want to step up on a dead ball situation and say, let me play this team. I know there's part of training, ethics and everything, but for you to say, okay, I want to do this, and you're coming from a team like the Pep Guardiola team down to Atletico and coming to that place, and we have players there too that have been playing free kick, Griezmann and all these people in that place. But you stepping up to do that is out of bravery. And also bravery in terms of when the team is 1 goal down or 2 goals down, do you show a glimpse of, I want to keep on pushing? Yes, we can see that. If you don't see anything about that guy, the Arsenal man shows that this guy wants to push. He doesn't give up easily. And I like that about him. Confidence is the next. And let me just put that, the bravery part, I'm going to say, the bravery part, I'm going to give him a 9 rating in terms of the bravery part. Now let's look at confidence level. Yes, you cannot say he has the confidence of Messi, Ronaldo, Zlatan Ibrahimovic, yeah, but in his own terrain among new generational players, he's up there too, because I believe that from what I'm seeing on the pitch now, the confidence level, that it takes confidence for you to not be satisfied when the coach remove you in a match and you can say, why always me? Why always me? Something like that. Why is it always me that you have to remove? No, and he said it while he was sitting down in a match during the La Liga game, yeah. But it takes confidence for you to say, I can do more than this. Give him more things to do. And you can see that the way he handled the ball, the way he switch play, passes, take on players, that confidence level is what I love about him also. I'm going to give him an 8 on that. Now, decision making. See, take your time, guys. Arsenal fan, take your time to go and watch. Maybe there are sites you can get to watch full matches. Take your time. Watch 3, 4, 5 matches. Champions League, listen, and see how we make decision. There's one decision that he make that I keep on asking myself in that Atletico Madrid matches. I don't understand. He just look up, pause the ball pause, and zoom. He passed the ball to Lookman. Like, what? It takes high level of character, high level of the way you see the game to make top-notch decision every time. Am I saying that he doesn't make wrong decision at all? He makes long decisions. Especially, there are some matches in La Liga whereby he wanted to dribble. He wanted to dribble with his back against the player. Like, he wanted to dribble and just dribble, and they collected the ball. But I'm talking about how he makes decision in play and off position, knowing that this is a place for us to press. This is time for me to play it long. This is time for me to play it short. This is time for me to recycle the game. And this is what Arsenal need, a lot of players that are good decision makers. He knows when to shoot. He knows when to pass. And in this part, this decision making make him so unpredictable because he already knows what he wants in his head. In decision making, I'm going to give him a 7. Now, lastly, because there's so much to talk about in his profile, now let's talk about aggressiveness. Now, this guy is not the most aggressive player, but who needs is not the aggression of bully aggressiveness, and everything. Doesn't have that. And that's one thing about his own psychological. He's not bad. But let me just say, don't let me say he's not bad. Let me just say that he's not as aggressive as other striker or forwards in the world. There are many forwards in the world that are way aggressive, that can bully defender and everything. He's not a player like that. But he has something that works for him. His technical ability, his trickiness, and everything can work for him in that. So in the aggressiveness, I'm just going to give him 5 in aggressiveness, and that is it. So in terms of psychological part, I think the only way he is a bit not there, which maybe because that is how he is. His aggressiveness, and it's not a bad thing. Sometimes you need a cool-headed person in your team that is not aggressive, that make quality decision in that team. I think a player like that in Arsenal is really needed. It's very needed when we have the bullies, the Magales, the bullies at the back, ready to bully people. But at least he doesn't have that. He brings the calmness, the thinking technicality to Arsenal. Lastly, now this part is going to be the part I'm going to just say straight. Socials. Now, socials is depending on the data the team gets, but I'm not going to use communication on the pitch. For me, communication on the pitch is amazing. The way he communicates, the way he moves, and the way he talks into his teammates on the pitch is amazing. Now, also in socials too, interaction with the teammates. Now, interaction with his teammates has been something that I've seen during halftime in La Liga, coming out, relating and everything. I think he relates well in terms of. Now, the elephant in the room for me has only been does he seems to me like a player that love and enjoy the game? Yes, I would say that. I think Arsenal need a player like that enjoy the game. People that enjoy the game are type of people that put focus on attention to details. They look at attention to details and say, this is what we're going to put in down and we're going to do it. And I'm telling you, this guy enjoys the game. The way he plays, it shows that he enjoyed the game so much. And even the way he celebrates really shows that he enjoyed the game so much. And see, some players also play that way too. And actually, they are not enjoying the game. They just want it for a living. They see it as a job. But from what I'm saying here, he enjoyed the game. Now, the last thing is leadership. This I have to give to you guys, that in Atletico, he stepped out better. I've not seen some clips about his leadership thing, but from what I'm seeing on the pitch, maybe he's a leader by example. I don't need to talk too much. I'll put it on the pitch and everything. And basically, it's still 26. There's still more time to look at the leadership department there. But Arsenal already have a lot of leaders in the team. So him coming in will be a good balance in the team also to come in. Now, this is my final verdict. After I've profiled this guy, look at this guy. I think this guy come with another X factor to Arsenal. If eventually it goes to Arsenal and not the other team, which I'm not going to mention. So if eventually it comes to Arsenal, it brings something unique, something different. A player like Avas is in the Arsenal team and they bring a dynamic of coming up to the play, and Avas is also good on the air as well. But he coming to play can also dictate the match. Sometimes I think he excelled better with a player up front or a player mixed with him to connect with him. He was better. Is he a traditional striker? No, but I think he's an hybrid. He's a versatile player, an hybrid in terms of he can play multiple roles in the final third. So my verdict is that coming to Arsenal, for me, it comes with more technicality, more dead ball situation. Arsenal need that technicality. Arsenal needs someone that can get a goal from nowhere. And I think if eventually come to Arsenal, I will say it will be a very good rated signing.